Hello everyone and welcome to the second ribbon bounce tutorial. In this one we're going to be learning how to do 5-minute trades. That's the only thing we're going to be focused on is for 5-minute trades. And in the next video I'll do is I'll go over each indicator that will come with the binary option strategy uh, indicators that you can get for free. Okay. But for right now, we're just going to be focusing on the normal system I use to be taking 5-minute trades using MetaTrader 4. Okay. And again, all indicators work on OTC as well, but today we're just going to be using the regular markets. And we'll go ahead and we'll choose Australian JPY. And I'm going to open up another one of these, just like it. There we go. So we have two open. I'm going to go ahead and put them on both. Make it smaller. There we go. Well, because maybe I can, my recording thing is in the way for me clicking on the fourth thing. But let's go ahead and get these indicators added. We're going to use templates. Go to load template. You're going to get each of these templates with the package as well. I'm a big fan again with golden turquoise and Spider-Man. We'll go ahead and we'll make both of these Spider-Man templates. There we go. We're going to knock this one to 1 minute. We're going to knock this one to 5 minutes. This way we can kind of see what the overall trend is on a 5-minute. And that'll help you in regards to figuring out sometimes what the 1-minute chart's doing. All right. Now, normally I keep one chart on another screen and each chart will have its own screen. So this way I can make everything look a little bit bigger, spread out. And yes, you can take these outside of MetaTrader with a particular setup I have, but I'm not willing to give that out just yet. It needs a little bit more work. Or you can install more than one MetaTrader onto your computer, and this way you can put it on multiple monitors. So let's go ahead and get the ribbons going right here. Click OK. You know, let's make this like this. Let's bring that down. There we go. That's a little bit better. Then we can work with this for now. All right. There you go. We're going to add the linear regression line. And these are the default settings. Okay. Now, because some people they they still want to use like a fast and slow ones with like 50 where you can change this to 50, 29. So I left the options there for you to still do that. But again, my main ribbon bands here, they're set for the extreme. And if you missed the first video, I'll close this real quick just so you can let me make this bigger for you. The white ribbon system, the red ribbon system, and the green ribbon system. They're just moving averages, but they're in sections that are considered to be the extreme. So this is very extreme, medium extreme, low extreme. Okay. That green doesn't mean buy, red doesn't mean sell. You get the idea. It's Green is the extreme, red is the medium extreme, and this is the low extreme. And you can change the colors on the ribbons to fit your purposes or your purpose. Okay. Now, one thing I do on my 1 minute chart, let's go ahead and bring up Navigator again. We're going to go ahead and add the Hakanashi candles. And I'm going to change, we'll leave that there. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just leave those alone for now. Um, but I am going to make these a 4. I don't think it took. So let's retry. And again, that's one of the reasons why I don't like MetaTrader 4 that much in regards to indicators. Because even if you were to say you get everything set up the way you want, colors, size, settings, and then you save template, whenever you load that template, everything will always go back to default for those indicators. So you have to go back through and change everything again. Okay. Yeah, it's much better. Okay. And then we're going to add the volatility super smoother. And we're going to make, oh, yeah, we should be good to leave those alone. There we go. Okay. So now you have an overall view of what the main one looks like for the ribbon bounce taking 5 minute trades. Now let's go ahead and get to the other chart and get that set up. And this one's a 5 minute chart. Okay. And I don't use this like I do for the other one. All right. What I do is use this to kind of picture what is the future of the candles. Okay. And let's go ahead. And one of the things I'd like to add onto it, and let me go ahead and bring up Navigator. Okay. Got that. Now, there's different things you can add to the system that works good for 5 minutes. And that's the full bands, as you can see. So you kind of get an idea from tops to bottoms. But I have a strategy that's set just for the bands and the Super Trend Savage. That makes trading pretty simple, but the trades are farther apart. And that's why I got the symbol changer right here. So instead of always having to come up here and stuff and change to two different pairs, they're all right here, and you can set it up. So you just click that pair and it moves over to that pair. Same thing. Okay. But what you can do is you can put the candle volume. Now, this takes in quite a bit of information to give a percentage, like for delta and all that. So if you were working off a chart that's not providing like footprint information, just basic footprint information, the indicator is not going to work 100%. But it still works in a good enough manner for regular markets where you would normally get that information depending on who your broker is. And including on OTC charts from binary options or IQ options, Quotex. All right. But as you can see, there's quite a something there. You change the colors and stuff. And we'll go ahead and add it. And what that does is put a percentage there above each one. Okay. So like right here, we'll go ahead and get rid of the bands because we don't need that for what we're doing here. There we go. Okay. I'm go ahead and turn the auto on. Now remember, I usually keep one one chart on a different screen. But because my video recorder only does for one screen, we're gonna have to do it on two charts on one thing here. All right, let me go ahead and close that. There we go. Let me get this, make sure everything's set properly. Zoom out a little. There we go. We'll zoom out a little on this one. Ah, this one isn't as. That's one of the nicer things about having different monitors. So this would look bigger and spread out. And I could just, yeah, so we're kind of stuck having to stay a little bit closer. But as you can see, it gives you a percentage at the bottom between buying power and selling power. Okay, now remember, just because it says 82% and only 18 at the bottom does not always mean it's going to go up. All right, the next candle. Okay, and so using something like this, like if you wanted, you could add some kind of channel so you can keep an idea of which way the market's going with that channel system. Uh, and trend lines, resistant lines, support with time frames. And I do have some of that as well. That one will be coming with your package as well for you to use. And it gives you the time of like if it's at a 5 minute supply or resistance line, half hour resistance line. Okay. So just to confirm, we are Australian JPY. 5 minute, Australian JPY, 1 minute. Okay, so now we're going to go over the basics of this first, and then I'll go over and how we can use that with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this big. So like right here, let's, we'll start somewhere farther. Let's make sure this doesn't follow. Turn that off. Okay, so it will start. Now, if you're a new person, my biggest recommendation for a lot of people is only go with the trend, a good, decent looking trend for going. So this one's going up. The white is above the red and the green. So you'd be looking only to take 5 minute trades going up. Now, usually what you'll do is you'll want to, as a beginner, you might want to stay away from this stuff where it's so close and wait for some real confirmation, like right here. We are completely outside of the line. But if you're more advanced, you know you could have, this was the crossover, the bands are coming up, plus with the volume down here, once you got this, you could have got your 5 minute trade in and one came back down. All right, right here, you might have lost your 5 minute if you got in somewhere right in there. But that's so this is why we are looking for pullbacks. So right here we had a pullback, turned green, okay? And then it crossed the linear regression. We have a lot of green right here, so put in a 5 minute trade for going up. And then we wait for the next pullback coming down onto a main line, and it's crossed over. We have a lot of green. We take a 5 minute trade going up. All right, now over here we're coming back down. We got one. If you were to get in, take a 5 minute trade. Let's see, get in somewhere here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like you would have lost. Okay. Yeah, just on this. Yeah, just on the safe side. Looks like let's just recount it. You got your first green here, assuming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it looks like you actually you might have won or tied out. You may have won lot because that's pretty darn close depending on where you got your trade in on this Hakanashi. That's one of the things about Hakanashi. It's a little hard sometimes to tell where you got your trade in because when it comes across. Okay. All right. So if you were like have another chart that's 1 minute going off of these, it's a little bit easier to tell where your trade got in and out. So now we have a clear movement coming down, rejection, but not cross the linear line. Same with here. So you didn't really cross the linear line. So you may want to avoid that. And we're looking for good, clear movements. Now we're below the line, so we don't take any trades. And if you, as a new person, if you're more advanced, you could see it came, it retested, came across the linear regression line. You have some good red candles, so you get your 5 minute trade frame for going down. Now you have a rejection. All right, so if you're brave enough, you can get your trade in somewhere in here or right there, depending, because you have a lot of green here. Get your 5 minute for trade for going up. Then we have another rejection across the linear regression. We don't have a lot of red yet, but we could see that the power is going down on the volume. So you could get a 5 minute trade for going down. But if you're too scared, you could always skip it. Nothing wrong with skipping trades. Just and wait for clarification where it comes back up. Because obviously it's below the line, it's riding, so we're looking to take trades to ride that line. And right here, it bounced, crossed the linear regression. You got a bunch of red already, so for a 5 minute trade going down. It's a pretty simple strategy, okay? When things start looking a little bit choppy like this, though, this is kind of when you just want to just stay out of the market until you have more confirmation of what's going on. Because lines are, when this white line's crossing into the other ribbon bands, you just want to avoid all trades altogether. And we don't get any good confirmation until, well, we got some good reds, so maybe get a trade in here, but just say you would avoid it. All right, so we're bouncing. So we're definitely testing stuff here. All right, and we don't get any good clear confirmation. So you never want to take that first one. You wait for the retest, which was right here, and it failed. So once it crossed that linear regression, you have some good red. So 5 minute trade down. Coming back up. It went through the line, it bounced. So if you were to get in, get a 5 minute trade in here, because we have some red, and assuming, because you gotta remember, we can't see anything beyond this except for what's in front of us, but that looks like a good bounce. So if you want to do a 5 minute trade right in here somewhere, that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would have barely won, but you still won. But again, this is starting to look too choppy. All right, we're looking for good, clear movements. All right, but here, this was a bounce again. We could tell that there's a lot of testing going on because you had testing here, testing right there, testing right here again. Okay, but here we have good, clear movement. We got some red. 5 minute down, you would have won. Came back up. It got rejected, so we get 5 minute trade for going down, and you would have won. All right, now right up here is where things get a little touchy. If you were to take your trade here for 5 minutes going down, you would have lost because, but there wasn't a lot of information here, nothing real big, so you would want to stay out of that area anyways. You're looking for good mountains. All right, now right here is where it really came up in a good, that's kind of a good smooth pullback, pull up, and then finally it really started creating some, so you can get a trade in for going down for 5 minutes. And again, right in here, we're getting choppy. You don't really want to mess with anything like this right here. And remember, you can always, if you can spot, if you're good enough in spotting to get those returned back up like this, you can get that 5 minute. But for new people, I always recommend just stick with the hard trends going up. So like right here, you had a hard trend. It was a bounce. And everything's crossing over. So you could see that we have the transition. But if you still got this going on, you're too not sure what to do, just don't take a trade. Wait until you get some good clear white ribbons separated and you go for this stuff. You know. Nothing to, you had a lot of green right there. So right in here, which is right in there, that's a big high candle going up. So for 5 minutes going up, you'd get a trade. Now right here, if you're using a small line or a fast line, which I don't tend to use, it's for other people mainly because I knew that they would want something like that. So right here, we take a trade. I would, and I would have lost that trade. So now I stay out of it until I have some kind of confirmation of what the market's doing. And right here, it's testing the line because it broke through. And now it's retesting the line and failed. And we got a lot of red going on here, and it's crossed a linear regression. So assuming I got my trade in here somewhere, 5 minutes down. That's basically how this trade works, or trading strategy works. Now let's go ahead and get the other one going. So this can help you in certain areas. Okay, let's go ahead and get this moved over. So when you're trading and you see a 5 minute, oh, I gotta turn that off. So like right here, and this is at time frame 405. Oh, did I go too far? Uh, 417, 49. So right in here. Okay. All right. Just to confirm, 17,305. Oh, no, we gotta go farther. 22,301. Okay. So right here. So we have a lot of green. You have this. Okay. And that's this right here. This candle here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if you want it and you were using this in conjunction with this, that's obviously a rejection. And the odds are now we have 40% here, 80% there. So the odds are the next candle is going to go up. So let's see, you got your trade in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, now you can see this is a rejection right up in here. Now it's matching up with that for 5 minutes coming down. So the odds are next candle. Now we have a 27%, and we have an X there as well. So it kind of stalled out right there. It doesn't always represent, like this one was, it stalled out right here, so it's not like, oh, that's the bottom, okay, for the next candle. Uh, and then this one was 73. So the odds are next candle is probably going to come down. So you can use this in conjunction with that. Now let's go ahead and move like right here where we have that going on. This is at time frame 405. All right, we got 404. So that's this section right here. Okay, so we came up, we got rejected, which in here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, had the hiccup. That'd be 5. So the next candle would probably come down, and it did. As you can see, you could write that down. So that'll help you in conjunction uh, with finding some of these trades along these ribbons on the 1 minute chart. So you can get an idea of what's going on because you can get familiar with, here's a good long trend going up, but again, remember, these are 5 minute candles. So you got to look at this period over here. Okay, this is what happened. Here's what the strength is. Okay. Like right here, this is at time frame 1850. Let's go ahead and go to 1850. All right, 1852 right here. All right. So we want, so it'd be right in this area right here. All right. Let's double check. Yeah, because this kind of, these two right here are going to be this little section here because it didn't really do much. So this was going to be your long 5-minute candle down. Bam. Came down. Got rejected. You already have some green going on here. Bam. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get in right there. It's most likely the next candle is going to go up. That'd be your 5 minutes going up and you catch that top. Okay. I think that you're kind of getting the idea there. We'll go ahead and bounce out a little. We'll go bring this down just so you can see this a bigger version. Okay. But that's basically how you can use this strategy to pick out some good trades, good quality trades, not just trying to get whatever trade you can find. These two charts put together can really help you find some good quality trades. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and bring that back. There you go. You don't want to keep this video too long. I like to keep the videos like a half hour or a little bit less. I don't think anybody should have to watch an hour-long video unless there's a lot more going on. But the strategies are pretty simple that I put together. Like you don't even need this to do this. And when you use a trade manager, if you're using like good money management, like the trade manager I use is here. Well, I'll just show you. So let's see, right? Trade manager. This is the trade manager I use right here, Wealth Warrior Trade Manager. Okay. So I like to set mine for 10 chances to get it right twice, just in case I have a very, very bad day. The majority times, I never even get past 8. All right. And that's, and a lot, and when it comes to my trading, a lot of times, um, if I'm trading on my tablet, my loss ratio is a lot higher, but I can normally keep my win ratio 60 to 70% of doing what I do on a computer versus doing stuff on my tablet. Okay. And so, and then if I'm feeling a little bit more riskier, I'll knock it to 8 chances to get it right twice. And I just be a little bit more extra careful when I take my trades. Make sure they're all in good spots and not just trading down the middle or anything like that. Okay. So, you can walk away with a good amount of money. So it just depends on, but as a new trader, I would actually recommend you go, if you're starting out with a balance of $500, then I would recommend you do 11 chances to get it right twice. All right. So this way you can still make a little bit of money for the day. Okay. Let's see here. If you have $500 starting balance. And anytime you have this set for anything, you can change the percentages to like 70%, and over here, it's going to let you know exactly after you have these set, how much money you're going to actually, the minimum amount of money you're going to need to make that setting system work. Okay. Currently, this is on set for 90%. The majority time is on OTC markets. So, and those usually pay 90%. Okay. So you could see right here, you do a session, you could walk away with $1.79. And every time you get your win, you just update the system. Okay, just click that, and it updates the system, your capital, and then you just go ahead and clear your session, and it gives you new amounts. So you're compounding your account at the same time. So the more you get this raised up and updating, the more these bets will turn out to be more money per pet, or sorry, not per pet, per bet. Okay, and we'll go ahead and close that. I think that pretty much clears up everything in regards to this system and being able to take quality trades. Okay, instead of doing a lot of the in between stuff that you see people do with the smaller, with the moving averages like 10, 9, 12, 20, but you can add those to the system. Okay, that's going to be the end of this video. And when I do my next video, it's going to be me going over each indicator that's going to come with the binary options trading strategy package along with templates. You enjoy the rest of your day and hope you enjoyed the video.